Well, hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is somehow already halfway through July and I am very behind on my July reset, but we're going to do it anyway, so stick around. All right, so reflecting on June. June was a month full of going to friends' houses to swim at pools, going to the splash pad. We found a great new splash pad. It's not new, but I've only been like one other time in previous summers, and it's really affordable to go, and it's never super crowded because they actually cap the attendance. Like, they do it in what's called waves. So they have a certain amount of people that can come during that time slot, and then, you know, if you luck out, you have to wait until the next one. And that actually ends up being really nice because they have a nice area with shaded tables that you can sit at while the kids play, and it's just really great. So we've been there 2 or 3 times in June, and we went to friends' houses a couple of different times to swim in their pools. And so I would say that we've done more swimming in June than we have in past summers, which I really love. There have also been some really good yard sale opportunities. So I haven't shared all of them. I've shared some of them, but we found quite a few things, some good things for the kids, some good things for me. Also, there's been good thrifting in June, so some good things to add to my summer capsule and some things that have kept the kids busy this summer. All right, I usually try to touch on books and podcasts, and then also favorite things that I've been enjoying, and then if I've learned any helpful tips for habits, I like to share those too. So let's talk about books first. I did finish The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and it was wonderful. It was a little heavy, but it was very good. I enjoyed it. I was not expecting the ending, and so it was a surprise, which, you know, is nice when you can be surprised by the ending of a book. So I turned that one back into the library, and I have 2 over here that I have started. I've mentioned this one. I'm rereading this. This is For the Children's Sake by Susan Schaefer Macaulay. This is something that was required for us to read for school, but I'm reading it again, just kind of trying to learn more about education and kind of where we fall, and just kind of our family's ideals about it. So I wanted to reread that. And then I mentioned this one a while back that I had gotten at a yard sale, I believe. It's Under the Tuscan Sun, At Home in Italy. This is by Frances Mays. And I believe several of you said that you had read this. So we just got back from the beach. I started this while we were at the beach. I'm not very far into it at all. I will say it's been kind of, I've enjoyed it, but it's one of those that it is so authentic that I'm either having to stop to Google what words mean, or I'm just having to skip over it and just kind of read between the lines. There are so many instances where she is talking about their experience in Italy, and she is using words that of course I don't speak Italian, so I don't know these words. I'm trying to think how to say it without, you know, talking badly of the book, because I do think that it's a good book so far. I would love for the experience to be one where I don't have to stop to look up a word in order to understand what the book is talking about. There are times when she will kind of put a comma after the Italian word and then say in English what it means. But whenever she doesn't do that, I do have to make the choice of, do I want to stop and get my phone and look up this word, or do I just want to continue reading and just kind of figure it out? So I would love to know if you've read this book or one similar. What do you do whenever you're reading a book and you are frequently, you know, every other page coming across words that you don't recognize because they're in a different language? If you have dealt with that, I'd love to know what you do. Like here she says boh, B-O-H. He says boh. This is an all-purpose word, sort of well, oh, who knows, or dismissal. I would love if there were more instances like that instead of just throwing the words in and I don't know what they mean. And I will say there are several times where she goes through and defines what those words are, but it's not all of the time. So those are the books that I'm reading. As far as podcasts, I really haven't done a lot of podcast listening in June, actually. I did listen to a really wonderful one. I listened to the audio version, but I will link the YouTube video down below. It was a talk by Andrew Pudewa. So he is, I'm just learning who he is. If you're a homeschooling person, you probably know who he is. But I listened to this talk. It's called Nurturing Competent Communicators. And it was really interesting. And in a nutshell, he was just talking about how each child is different and we have to cater to each child in different ways. He talked specifically about audiobooks and how listening to audiobooks really does count as reading. And he was talking about one of his sons that has dyslexia, and he was talking about how well read he was and how well spoken he was just from listening to audiobooks, because at the time he was unable to actually physically read. And it was just very interesting. There was more to the talk than that, but that's the general synopsis of it, was just looking at how we can develop competent communicators. So it's very long. It was an hour. I listened to it while I was prepping food one day, and I really enjoyed it. So I will link that one down below. The other podcast that I listened to, I know that I mentioned before, the Debt Free Mom podcast, and I have really been enjoying her podcast, but I don't know if I specifically mentioned this episode, and if I did, you'll just have to forgive me. But she interviewed Amy Cross, and the title, this is episode 24, and I'll link it down below. It is Reducing Food Spending and Waste with Amy Cross. And I just have to say, her approach to food and food storage and preservation, she's very big on washing produce and getting produce to last a very long time. She and her approach to food has been one of the most fascinating things that I've discovered this year. So she has an Instagram channel. I think she also has an ebook where she specifically talks about how she washes and prepares different types of produce. But very, very interesting. So again, I will link that down below. This is on the Debt Free Mom podcast, and the lady that she interviewed, her name is Amy Cross. Her Instagram is called The Cross Legacy, and I have adopted her method of washing produce, of washing strawberries. She's very specific about the ratio of water to vinegar, and then how long you soak it, and then what you do after the soaking. Anyway, it has just been very enlightening to me, so I will link that down below. So as we head into the favorite things category, I actually would file washing produce and figuring out how to make produce last longer. I would actually file that under one of my favorite things. I think it's been really enjoyable, and I don't know, it's nice to see your groceries last a long time and you don't have to throw many things away. I have really been enjoying my summer capsule. I know I mentioned a couple of new pieces in my last videos. This was one of them, this green 9 West overshirt, which I'm not wearing very much because it is very, very hot. It has just been an incredibly hot, dry summer. Funny enough, on the day that I'm filming this, we just got rain. I actually had to delay my filming because of the rain and the thunder, and it was wonderful. But by and large, it has been a very dry, very hot summer. But I've really been enjoying my summer capsule. I've specifically been enjoying wearing the color red, which is abnormal for me, but I think it's a very certain shade of red. I think it has to be a shade of red that almost leans like an orange tone. So I have two tops in my capsule. There was a tank top, and then there was a new wrap shirt that was from Old Navy, and both of those are that red that kind of leans just a little of an orange tint. So I've been enjoying that in my wardrobe, but I've also been enjoying that in my nail polish. I really rarely paint my fingernails, but I do like to paint my toenails. So this is the Sally Hansen Instant Dry in the color 361 Augmented Reality. I did mention this in a video before, but I just wanted to show it again because I have really been enjoying it this summer. And you can see it really is just that red, but it's sort of an orange toned red. Another color that I usually pull from in the summer that I actually have not worn this summer is Revlon color 914 Tropical Temptation. This is an older color. I'm not sure if they still have it. But But I find it very interesting how colors are sort of relative. And what I mean by that is that our eyes perceive color in a certain way based on what it's close to. If I saw this by itself, I would categorize this as maybe a coral color, you know, kind of orange, kind of pink. And on this on its own, I would categorize this as a red, but it's an orange toned red. But then immediately when you put these together, they sort of make each other look different, you know. This looks very pink and this looks kind of very orangey red. So the perspective of that is interesting. When I have worn this in the summer, to me it has looked very strong coral, strong leaning orange, but when I put it next to this, it looks more leaning pink. So I've been enjoying that. Also, I'm not rushing fall, but I am just excited for things to come. I usually say that when it's time for a change of season, I'm ready for that. That's why I love living in North Carolina, because we experience all the seasons. I do wish we got a little more snow. We get almost no snow, pretty much no snow, but anyway. But while we're showing nail polishes, this is one that I think I will wear a lot as we transition into fall. This is the Sally Hansen Insta Dry 413, the color Espresso. And it is very pretty. This color actually is also really special to me because my grandmother, who this was her house, I would go and paint her fingernails, and that was something that was just really special to me, and I bought this color for her. So this is a color that I would use a lot, and it just makes me think of her. I really like the Sally Hansen ones because of the brush. The shape of the brush is very nice to me. It is wider than your typical brush, and I'm about to drip here. It's wider than your typical brush, and I think it just does a really nice job. So anyway, there's a couple of nail polish colors for you. Talking about the wardrobe, I have also really been enjoying those new white shorts. So if you watched the thrift haul, I found 2 new pairs of white Old Navy shorts, and especially the boyfriend pair that's a little bit longer. I have worn those so many times in the past week and a half. I really have been enjoying those shorts. I have also really just been enjoying the seasonal summer foods. So lots of fresh produce. We've been picking blueberries at my parents'. We've been eating fresh tomatoes from their garden. I have enjoyed pasta salad and chicken salad, which I just shared a recipe for. So lots of good summer foods that I have really been enjoying. I've also really been enjoying watching our zinnias grow outside. This is my 2nd year growing them, and while they have not taken off like I hoped they would, in many ways they have improved from last year's patch. We moved to a different location that I had hoped would get more sun, and it definitely has gotten more sun, but I think that the lack of rain has really stunted their growth a bit. The zinnias have done well. I've been enjoying watching them, and I anticipate that maybe as August and September continues that I will really get to see them kick off and thrive. That's what I'm hopeful for anyway. My last favorite thing has been hair braiding. I put up a tutorial last year of kind of the wear every day, just kind of effortless braid, and I'll link that down below as well. But I've really been enjoying wearing that braid. It's something that I kind of do mostly in the summertime, and it just feels easy and effortless, and then the next day you have some nice waves to your hair. So I have been enjoying braiding my hair, especially for days when we go to do some sort of water play. I do the same for my daughter's hair, and it just gets your hair out of the way, and then you don't have to worry about as many tangles. All right, so those are all of the favorite things. As far as things coming up in July, we have a busy month. This is a travel month for us. So we've had a trip, we have another trip coming up, and we have Vacation Bible School. And then our school actually starts quite early. So before we know it, we will be beginning the school year. I'm actually excited about it. I think that it's going to be great. Just busy. We had a great 4th of July. We had lots of fun things. I still am just in disbelief that we're already mid-July. So you guys will have to let me know down in the comments if you have any thoughts, if you've tried any of the things that I've mentioned, or if you have some things of your own that you've been enjoying or things you're looking forward to. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will talk to you in the next one.